And we're on in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, America, and welcome to the #1 news channel on television.
You know it.
RRJ3 News. Our top stories feature some very ironic and tragic events. Godzilla is back and bigger than ever.
Godzilla.
The settlement sharks are out of the Stanley Cup series, and the emotional issue of how to break the cycle of poverty. He's never thought Godzilla would return, but he is back and bigger than before.
San Jose Sharks lost their playoff series to the Dallas Stars and are completely out of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
So how do you feel about the Sharks not winning? I was disappointed. That's it. Frustrated. See, wanting to kill. Alright. Now back to you, Raven.
Let's start with the issue of poverty in a small town of Concord in California at Mount Diablo High School. And here's Renee with the story.
We're here at Mount Diablo High School, where poverty is at its highest peak. Many of the students have gone through this cycle of poverty. We'll be interviewing one individual that has been affected by poverty. How do you feel about being affected by poverty?
Poverty really has affected me. You know, I get it how I can survive any way possible each time.
What are some of the problems you face?
Some people spit at me, beat me up, make fun of me. It's just a way of living. Fine with me. Sir, can you prepare some change or stuff, please? Let me see. Thank you, man. Hold on. Okay, I got it. I really appreciate it. I got shoes. I want to keep mine, so. For the poor.
How do you feel about him asking for money?
I mean, it's kind of weird. I'm not used to people asking me for money on the streets. And I normally have something to give out, but you see I didn't have that much on me. I had like 3 pennies. But it's alright, you know what I'm saying? Like, I help, but I'm not used to it. Like, he could go get a job or something and make his own money. Like, that's basically how I feel about it.
So how do you feel about poverty?
Poverty is the #1 problem in the world today.
So how do you feel about poverty?
I be hating poverty. Or
How do you feel about the problems people face?
I think they should deal with their own problems, and everybody should fix themselves.
Okay, thank you.
Poverty is a poverty of spirit. That's a life-challenging situation. That's something that leads you in a downward spiral. Whereas most people confuse poverty of spirit with being broke. Being broke is a temporary lack of financial flow. I can be broke right now, and tomorrow I can be worth $1 million simply because of cash flow situations, right? Poverty of the spirit means it's a long term, it puts you on a downer, it puts you where you can't think of yourself. You don't know which way is up. You just kind of exist and go from day to day and float along. And that's a person that has a real psychological problem. They can't pull themselves out. And we've all seen people who suffer from that condition, where you get into generational situations where people are, say for instance, families on welfare for generations. Not just, and welfare, there's nothing wrong with welfare if you have that broke condition. Right now, I'm just broke and I need help. I'm a single parent with 3 children and I need help because I can't afford to live here, in this county. Whereas that's different than being the 3rd generation of welfare recipient, because now that whole spirit of poverty has been transmitted to you that you can't do any better. And you get it into your brain that you can't do any better. That's your lot in life. And that's a sad state of affairs. Okay, that person has lost the will. And they'll just exist through life, and that's where you get into the situation where people become almost suicidal. They become psychotic. And they raise up the next generation to be just like them.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
This is Renee reporting for RRJ3 News. Now back to the studio.
Thank you, Renee. Now, back to the studio, we're going to talk a little bit about poverty.
For many years, poverty has affected America. There has been many actions formed to try to prevent poverty spread. 1970, Nixon's welfare reform bill, the Family Assistance Plan, dies in the Senate. 1980, welfare benefits and food stamps are cut under President Reagan. 1996, Congress passed Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act. In 2001, President Bush pushes for a charitable trade tax, passed in the House in July.
There were numerous causes of poverty. The lack of skills keeps many welfare recipients from finding or keeping jobs. They need more than job training. Many observers insist they also need training in work habits. Women are also widely affected as well. Women are half the world's population, yet they do 2/3 of the world's work, reduce 1/10 of the world's income, and own less than 1/100 of the world's property. For millions of Americans, the U.S. public education system has failed to provide the tools necessary for climbing out of poverty.
Maybe years before anyone can say whether or not the president or other proposed welfare reforms break the cycle of poverty.
No, that's really interesting. I didn't even know all these things about poverty.
It's crazy, it's all over America.
Yeah, and it's really sad. I hope someone really breaks the cycle. Well, thanks for watching RRJ3 News. I'm Raven.
I'm James.
And I'm Renee.
What is it?
No, you can have 10. 3.